Now, if you follow my channel, you know I'm a big fan of the ThinkPad line. I reviewed my share, all sorts of sizes, 13-inch, 14-inch, 15-inch, we've seen them all. But one that I've been having my eye on is a mobile workstation, and I've reviewed my share of those as well. But I recently took delivery of the ThinkPad P14s mobile workstation here for 2021. It's the Gen 2. And I really do like this because what this offers is up to a 4K UHD display. You're looking at 11th Gen Tiger Lake processors. You're looking at the Quadro T500 GPU from NVIDIA, and you also can get this with the optional 4G LTE. This is definitely something that the mobile professional will want to take a look at, especially for something that's thin and light, easy to take with you on the go. Hey everybody, it's Andrew, and this is my review of the ThinkPad P14s mobile workstation here for 2021. Coming up.
And as we take a look at the specs, in the interest of transparency and full disclosure, I'm not being paid by Lenovo, I'm not being sponsored by Lenovo. All the opinions you're about to hear are my own. Lenovo is not getting copy approval. That means they're seeing this video for the first time, just like you. Now, this unit was provided by Lenovo. Once this review is done, I'll be sending it back. Pricing starts at $1,275.42. For those interested, I'll leave a link in the description below for more information and where you can buy one. And with specs and pricing out of the way, let's find out what you get inside the box. Let's open it up. You get a very compact 65-watt USB-C power adapter along with the extension cord. You get some documentation along with warranty information as well. Holding the unit for the first time, this is very familiar because this has the ThinkPad build and quality that we've come to expect. Now, it is a plastic body that is made to endure a lot of abuse, having undergone a number of tests to make sure that it can survive in a number of harsh environments. And at 1.47 kilograms or 3.24 pounds, this is definitely a thin and light laptop, although not the thinnest or the lightest we've seen in a 14-inch laptop, but definitely portable enough to take with you on the go. All right, let's check out the port selection. We're going to start off on the left side. We get two Thunderbolt 4 ports, a side docking connector, a USB-A 3.2 Gen 1 port, an HDMI 2.0 port, and a 3.5 millimeter headphone microphone combo jack. And next to that is the micro SD card reader. Moving over to the right side is the optional smart card reader, a USB 3.2 Gen 1 port, an RJ45 Ethernet port, a Kensington lock port, and that rounds out the ports on the right side. And on the back is the optional SIM card slot for the optional 4G LTE. And I have to say, this is an excellent port selection. To get inside this laptop, what you need to do is loosen the captive Phillips head screws, but unlike other ThinkPads in the line, it's not quite that easy since this is a wraparound back cover. What you need to do is pry it off with a guitar pick or something very similar. Take your time because you don't want to damage anything, and then you can pop it off. And once you do, you'll notice that there are a number of upgrade options. Now, part of the RAM is soldered into the motherboard, and there is an open slot for you to expand that out if you want. Now, this can support up to 48 gigabytes of DDR4 3200 RAM, and I like that ability for you to upgrade the RAM, of course. That is something we're rarely seeing nowadays, as most laptops in the thin and light category are opting to go with soldered RAM. So it's good to see the expandability in this laptop. And as far as the SSD is concerned, it is user upgradable, and it can support up to 2 terabytes of PCIe NVMe SSD storage. Now, my review unit comes with 1 terabyte of SSD storage, and as you can see, it has some very good reads and writes. And as far as wireless is concerned, it has Wi-Fi 6E along with Bluetooth 5.2, and both are working well. But unfortunately, the Wi-Fi card is soldered into the motherboard. You won't be able to upgrade it down the road. And it also has the optional wireless WAN. They're using the Quictel EM160R GL. It's a 4G LTE modem. It's also a Cat16 modem. And again, as I said, this is optional with the SIM tray located on the back. And while inside, you'll notice that it has a pretty decent sized single fan, and it also has a 51 watt-hour battery. We'll get into battery life and charging times in just a little bit. Okay, let's talk about the display. And as you can see, there are a number of options ranging from Full HD all the way to 4K. Lenovo sent over the UHD or 4K resolution display. And what we're looking at here is a 14-inch 3840 by 2160 IPS display with an anti-glare coating. And it also is a Dolby Vision HDR400 display that Lenovo claims will get up to 500 nits. And I gotta say, I've been blown away on how good this display has been so far. You're looking at really deep blacks, good white points, and it also has excellent contrast and a low delta E score, meaning this is a very color accurate display. And it also covers the color gamut really well. You're looking at 100% sRGB and good coverage across the board when it comes to the color gamut, meaning this is a good choice for content creators to do Lightroom, Photoshop, and of course, video editing. Lenovo claims that this display will get up to 500 nits in terms of brightness. Well, I measured even more, 540 nits, making this an excellent choice for not only indoor use, but outdoor use. And on top of that, this also has that anti-glare coating, so you see very minimal reflections or glare, which is definitely great if you want to get work done, much less distractions. And as I mentioned, this is a Dolby Vision 400 display. That means you're going to see some really great results when it comes to high dynamic range content, making this great for YouTube, Netflix, Amazon, and the like. And unlike others in the ThinkPad line here in 2021, this still retains a 16:9 aspect ratio, which is good for movies, watching Netflix, Amazon, and YouTube. That all worked well because you won't have any black bars on the top and the bottom. But when it comes to productivity work, I definitely prefer the 16:10 aspect ratio, which a lot of its siblings have already moved to here in 2021. You do less scrolling when it comes to web browsing. You'll see more on the display for things such as Word documents and spreadsheets. So this is the front-facing camera on the ThinkPad P14s mobile workstation here for 2021. Now my unit has the optional hybrid camera. That means it's an infrared camera that uses face recognition to log you into Windows Hello. It works pretty well. But there's also a standard 720p option that doesn't have face recognition. Just keep that in mind. Now, this does have a ThinkPad shutter switch that allows you to turn off the webcam for more security and privacy, which I do like, of course, to have that physical button. I definitely think all laptops should have that, and we're starting to see that. But what do you think about the 720p webcam? It's 30 frames per second. What do you think about the audio quality of the internal mics? I am curious to know. And there's also a fingerprint scanner that worked well, that was really fast and responsive and easy to set up. And for those wondering, no, you cannot open the lid with one finger. You'll have to use two hands. Now, as far as the keyboard itself is concerned, this has that ThinkPad quality that we've come to love. It has excellent key travel, good tactile feedback, and it's really the ThinkPad keyboard that we know and love. It didn't sacrifice any kind of key travel on this. It's excellent, and it is really comfortable to type on for extended periods of time. It has a multi-stage backlight that allows you to get work done in a dark room or a dimly lit environment, and it worked well, making it easy to differentiate, good contrast. It has a really good touchpad as well, which was very responsive. Two-finger scrolling is buttery smooth, and all the gestures work as you'd expect. And of course, it has the TrackPoint, which is part of the ThinkPad DNA. I don't think that's going away anytime soon. I thought it was pretty responsive, and it worked as advertised. Okay, let's talk about performance, and this is running the Intel 11th Gen processor. It's the Core i7-1165G7 Tiger Lake processor. We've seen that one before, but this is paired with a discrete GPU, the NVIDIA Quadro T500 with 4 gigabytes of video RAM. And this is the equivalent of, say, something like the MX150 or something like that. Not much of a bump, just a little bit of a boost given to the graphics here, but I wouldn't expect a really whole bunch of performance out of that. It's good for doing some CAD work. It's good for some rendering on the fly, but nothing serious, nothing major. It just gives you that little bump. Now, as far as the performance, it's been very good. It handled everything in terms of everyday tasks, Microsoft Office, email, web browsing. It all handled with no problem without breaking a sweat. Now, when it comes to gaming, you can definitely game on this, although of course, this is a mobile workstation. It's not a gaming laptop, but if you lower the settings, you can definitely get some playable frame rates on some of the more popular titles. And this is good for the occasional game when you're not doing some rendering or any of the working that you're doing in the professional level. And I did notice get quite warm under heavy load on the keyboard on the right side and on the underside on the upper left-hand corner of this laptop. So bear that in mind when using this on your lap. And as I mentioned earlier, this has that single fan for cooling. It's a pretty nice size fan, and you will notice it kick in every now and then, and especially under heavy load. Not terribly loud, not overly obnoxious or annoying, so that's been pretty good. And like most thin and light laptops, this will throttle down under heavy load to reduce the temperature so it won't overheat. That's to be expected, again, with a thin and light chassis that we have here. All right, let's talk about battery life, and this has a 51 watt-hour battery, and it did 9 hours and 13 minutes on my continuous web surfing test over Wi-Fi at 115 nits, very similar to the T14 Gen 2 that we recently took a look at. So this is a pretty good deal in terms of battery life. You're looking at anywhere from 7 to 8 hours, depending on, of course, what you're doing in real-world mixed usage, so please keep that in mind. Now, if you do need to plug in, the supplied 65-watt power adapter takes about 90 minutes to give you a full charge. That's pretty good. Now, when it comes to the audio, this has Dolby Audio, and I gotta say the speakers are okay. I would say they're nothing special. They're middle of the road, not too much bass, mids are decent, and it gets pretty loud. We'll fill up a small room, okay. I wouldn't say these are the best speakers I've ever heard. They're certainly not the worst. I would say these are middle of the road. Okay, let's bring it all home. What do I think about the Lenovo ThinkPad P14s mobile workstation here for 2021? And I gotta say, I like it a lot. I like its 4K display. It gets really bright. It's colorful. It's color accurate. It really fits the bill. And especially the fact that it is a matte display without any glare and reflections makes it even better. I like the fact that the Quadro 500 delivers good graphics performance, although don't expect major performance boost with it. A nice bump here and there, especially when you're doing some CAD work or things like that on the road. You want to render something on a quick demonstration, you can definitely do it with this laptop. And it's pretty good performance out of that Core i7 1165G7. Of course, you could also get it with the 1185G7 as well. That is another option. Now, the good maintenance possibilities here, as far as the RAM is upgradable, the SSD is upgradable, which I absolutely love. And I like the fact that this has that really great ThinkPad keyboard, really good touchpad, and the track points there for those that love that ThinkPad DNA. And it also has the optional 4G LTE for those road warriors who needs that always-on connection when you're on the road. The negatives are the CPU throttles under heavy load, although that's pretty typical of any thin and light laptop in 2021. There's no full-size SD card reader. You get a micro SD card reader, not a big deal. So there really are no deal breakers here, ladies and gentlemen. I think the ThinkPad P14s mobile workstation is an excellent choice for the mobile professional on the go who's looking for an always-on connection when on the road with a little bit more power to boot. I'm going to give this a definite recommend, making the ThinkPad P14s mobile workstation definitely worth your money.
So what do you think about this bad boy, the P14s here for 2021? It's the Gen 2. This is a polycarbonate or a plastic, very durable. It's undergone a series of tests to make sure it has that durability, that ruggedness, that it can survive in all sorts of environments, all sorts of drops and so forth. What we've come to expect with the ThinkPad line. Now this has that Tiger Lake processor. It's working well. This is the Core i7 1165G7. This has that 4K UHD display. It's a Dolby Vision display that is very bright. I got 540 nits in terms of brightness, which is excellent. It's an anti-glare display, no unnecessary glare or reflections. You gotta love it. Now, battery life, you're looking at 9 hours and 13 minutes on my continuous web surfing test. Real world usage, I would say anywhere from 7 to 8 hours of mixed usage, depending on, of course, what you're doing with this laptop. So keep that in mind. Charge is fast. It takes about 90 minutes for a full charge with the included 65-watt USB-C power adapter. Now, you will notice it does collect some fingerprints with that ThinkPad black finish on it. Not too unusual, of course. Has that ThinkPad logo that lights up, of course. Everything you come to expect with a ThinkPad. Now, the speakers are so-so. Really expensive when you really deck it out. This one is over $3,000, but then again, this is geared towards mobile professionals that do rendering, that do CAD work and stuff like that. So it's also ISV rated. So this is definitely something you might want to look at for something to take with you on the go that won't weigh you down, because it is pretty portable, easy to take with you on the go. But I'm curious to know what you think. Let me know in the comment section below. So please hit the like button, please subscribe, please share this video. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know if there's a device or something out there you think I should review. I'll do my best to try to make that happen. Don't forget to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and of course, my website, amdtechreviews.com. So until next time, this is Andrew from AMD Tech. See ya.